and welcome back to Better Than Yesterday. My name is Michael Jans van Rensburg, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend, Daniel Hammond. And today we're here to talk to you guys about choosing your path once you leave school. Daniel, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, bro. I must say I'm glad that I'm done with my semester now. So
Beautiful.
I'm officially waiting for my second year.
Sure.
And bro, how's it going? Like, you guys are coming to the end of your semester. How are you feeling about getting onto some holiday, man?
Sure, bro. I'm looking forward to it a lot. It's been a good first year of college, I must say, and yeah, I've learned quite a lot. But I am keen to just get the last of it behind me now, and then take this summer to just have a good time and relax for a bit, man. But dude, I think this topic is going to be interesting because it's something that you and I have been talking about quite a bit. We've made a post about it on the Instagram because I've noticed that, like, with people our age, it's just it's not an easy thing to choose. You know, what are you going to do with your life now that you've finished school? And we talked about it in our transitioning video, that video about transitioning in life, how it's such a different thing the second that you leave school, because there's no longer that structure in your life that tells you this is what you need to do, this is what time you need to do it by, all this kind of thing. Now it's up to you to decide what you're going to do. So there's three paths here, man. And the first one that we want to talk about is taking tertiary studies. So that's the path that Daniel and myself both decided to choose. I'm studying software engineering, a Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, specializing in software engineering. Daniel is studying property studies. And yeah, I'm studying it here in Cape Town, South Africa. But to get onto what tertiary studies looks like, so for most people, you're either going to be taking a one-year course at some kind of college, or usually if you're going to be going for a degree, it takes at least 3 years, and some are 4 years to get an honors or that kind of thing, man. So that's it just depends on what you're studying. I mean, if you're going to study to become like a doctor or something, then it's going to be seven plus years, you know, of extra studies. So it's a big decision. It's something that you have to think about carefully, because as soon as you apply, obviously it is something that you want to commit to. You can drop out at any point, but obviously then you will have wasted time. So you don't want to make the wrong decision. You want to make sure that you know this is the degree or the qualification that you really want, and then spend the next 3 years going for it.
Yeah, no, exactly, bro. And so what I'd like to talk about is the working part-time. You can, it's an option, it's optional. So you can fully focus on your studies all the way, or you can work part-time just to earn some extra money. Because you know, like student life, you tend to be broke quite a lot. So
Sure,
working part-time gives you like a bit of cash as well. And then you get some experience in the working field, which you can add to your CV once you like finish your undergraduate or
definitely.
higher certificate or diploma, whichever qualification you're going for. And then yeah, then I think it will be easier to get into a job as well. So personally, what I did is when I had my semester breaks and in the beginning of this year, while I was waiting for university to start, I took on some jobs, one or two, where I would go to hand out books to students who had to rewrite their subjects, and then I went to a local store where I helped them sort out some files and some financial stuff. So that's like the option I use. And now in this break, I tend to do some stock taking job as well. And then I think I'll go for that NAMCO job as well again, just to earn some extra cash. And like I said, getting that working experience, bro.
Beautiful stuff.
How's it been for you, man, in terms of the working part time?
Yeah, very good, man. So yeah, I've also done some part-time jobs this year. Before university, I was doing some work at a pet store for a while. And then, but what I've been doing for most of the year while I've been studying is doing like cold calling and sending out emails, you know, a bit of like sales work in my spare time when I'm not busy with study work. That's what I was doing for most of this year. One for my grandpa's business that sells like educational materials and that kind of stuff. And then also for my for my mom who's involved in real estate. So I was calling up people and asking them, you know, do you want to buy a house? Are you interested in, is your property still in the market? All this kind of thing. And like you say, I think it's valuable to make use of that extra time while you are studying to get some experience. You know, you can just sit and not use that time. And for a lot of, I haven't been working the whole year, but I have been trying to, you know, use some of the time that I do have. And like you say, it's very valuable because you need that extra income. You know, you want it to be able to go out with your friends and all that kind of stuff, man. So yeah, I think that's a big part of studying. You know, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of spare time, especially in your first year. It's not usually as hectic. So try and get some part-time job if you can while you are studying. So another thing about taking a tertiary studies is that it's a very good place to meet people, Ever. You know, what they say about, I think there's like some stats somewhere that like 40% of people who go to university meet their life partner, you know, like their husband or wife at university. So that's kind of an interesting thing about it. But I mean, it's just a stat, you know, but it doesn't have to be necessarily romantic interest the whole time. You're going to make really good friends at university, people who are interested in the same thing as you because you're studying the same thing. And, you know, a lot of the time the universities are huge. You know, it's a place where a lot of young people are coming together with the same goal in mind. So it's going to be a good place where you can start networking with people, finding good friends, maybe finding a love interest, you know, all this kind of stuff, man. So that's another perk about going to university.
Yeah, no, dude. I agree with that. And I must say it is fun like meeting all these people. It's like you have a lot of fun as well while
Definitely.
being serious, taking on your studies, but you meet new people. And the great thing about meeting people at university is you can meet future leaders. You can meet
Yeah.
people that in the future you're going to have to work with them and work with them in a certain way. Perhaps it is in my situation, I have to go value someone's house that
Yes.
I knew, or it might be someone that I have to go work for one day. You never know. So when you're meeting these people in university, you must always just try and be kind and
No,
not
for sure.
try and form bad terms because you never know when you'll meet that people again in life. Because
Mm.
obviously they've also got big plans going forward. That's why they're in university. That's why they're studying towards something. But
Amen.
it's definitely fun meeting people, and that brings me to my point, which is in university you have some of the best experiences in life. It's a time when you have to cherish and you have to have fun because once you get into the working environment, it's a 9 to 5 job,
Yeah.
so you don't have as much free time as you have in university
Big time.
because you do your studies, but even the lecturers aren't like on top of you to come to class to do your homework. It's like it's all your choice, and
Mm.
you can choose however you'd want to take on your studies, bro. So you can go out, make friends, and you guys can go out clubbing, you guys can go hiking. There's so many different things to do
Yeah,
and
a
so
community.
many
Yeah.
fun
Mm.
experiences to have, bro. Because you said it's just a lot of like mostly it's a lot of young people at university. So everyone is kind of like thinking the same way, wanting to have fun, wanting to get new experiences. And I must say, it is really different from high school because
Yeah.
you've got so much more freedom. Your parents let you do more things, let you go out more. Yeah, so it's a great time in your life, and
That's very
that's
true.
one of the perks tertiary education gives you if you choose to go in that in that direction after school, bro.
No, that's a really good point, man. I like that. Yeah, to finish off, the big goal of going to tertiary education is that you get the degree, the certificate at the end of it. So, and what that's going to do for you, obviously, is that it specializes you in one area of work, you know, or in some type of industry. So, like for example, what I'm planning to do with my degree is I'm going to be studying software engineering for the next 3 years. I'm almost at the end of my first year, and then what that degree is going to help me to do is that it'll just show companies that I have spent the time, you know, learning all these different like languages, the theory behind it, and that kind of stuff. For example, in the industry of IT, you can just self-educate yourself. but having a degree is something that is going to make you stand out. And but it can't be the only thing. You've got to try and get experience on top of it as well. But it is something that's very beneficial. That's why a lot of people go to university. So yeah, that's the end goal, is getting that certificate. That's going to put you ahead of a lot of people in the line, because you've spent that time, man. So yeah, that's taking tertiary studies, bro. Tell me about the other path that you can take after you finish.
Okay, so yeah, you've got the path where you can go straight into the working field.
Yeah.
So this is where you don't take a gap year, you don't go to tertiary education. Once you finish school, the next year you just start applying for jobs and see where you get in. Hopefully it's something that you do like,
Yeah.
and not just something random that you get. But usually you take whatever job you get, and it's on a full-time basis. So you're basically going to be going to work from 9 to 5.
Yes.
And then yeah, usually it is in a different field. But the good thing about this is that you get like that sort of independence straight away.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's definitely a good path to go in, because you take up more responsibility and you do have freedom with that. So why don't you tell us about some of the benefits you get from going into the working field straight away, bro?
Yeah, definitely, man. So it's a path I've seen a few of my friends take this year that I finished high school with last year. And what I've seen, obviously, so they spent like the first couple months of the year just applying to a bunch of different places while I was just waiting for university to start, kind of thing. And yeah, once you find a job in some sort of industry, like you say, it might not necessarily always be something that you're super passionate about, because it's difficult to get into a job like that when you don't have any qualification or experience. So you're usually doing something like waitering or cold calling or doing something like that, working in sales, interning at some place. That's usually what it looks like. And but one thing I've noticed is that the guys that have done that path after school, obviously they already have now an income that they've been earning for the last year, whereas we haven't really had that. We might have had it for a while with a part-time job, but they've been racking up income from a full-time job for the past whole year, which does give you a lot to work with, bro. So it gives you, like you say, more independence. You can actually start like supporting your family, your friends. You can start buying more things for yourself. So that's a big part of it. And I've seen that with my friends. That's been a big benefit of it. But obviously, every day from 9 to 5, they are busy, working. So that's just the difference in how it looks like. But another thing that you can do is starting your own business in that time, which is, so instead of like applying to a bunch of different jobs, perhaps you have something in the works, like where you can already start working full time with it. Like, for example, my one friend, he had a lot of backing from his parents and that kind of stuff, but was able to start his own pet shop straight out of school. So now that's what he does like full time. So that is a really cool thing. If you have the opportunity to do that, start your own business, and then you're running that full time, that's obviously something really cool to do. So yeah, there's different paths that you can do with that. You can be starting an online business. You can be doing e-commerce, trading. So there's those kind of things as well. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely great, bro. Like you said, you can start your own business. Obviously you have to have somehow you need the support.
Yes.
So it depends on your unique situation.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing.
then what I'd like to talk about is the work experience you build up. So usually when you apply for a job, they already want you to have some form of experience. Maybe it's 2 years. They want to see if you've worked like where you've worked for the last 2 years or the last year. So that's definitely the benefit with going to work straight away, is that tertiary students they have like the part-time experience, but if they don't choose that, they don't have as much experience as you'd have when you go straight into working full-time. You then, because it takes 1 to 4 years for tertiary students, so by the time they finish their studies and go into the work field, then you'd already have 4 years behind your back in terms of work experience. So you already have that practical know-how
Yeah.
where they have like the theoretical work. But one of the cons is that if somehow you lose your job, it will be difficult finding another job again because you don't have the qualification. So when choosing between tertiary education and working full time, it depends on you, and you have to go and do research and think about this carefully because it is an important step that you're going to take in your life.
Big time, brother. Yeah. Yeah, no. I think you made some really good points there, bro. So the third option that we have is taking a gap year, hey, bro. So that's one part that you'll see a lot of people going through. You know, there's really only three. I think those are the three parts. You know, taking extra studies, deciding to work, or are you just going to take this time to start to figure out who you are, bro? And taking a gap year, a lot of people look down on it because it can seem like you're wasting time. But what do you think are the benefits that you do get from taking a gap year in terms of finding yourself, deciding what you really want to do?
Yeah, so with taking the gap year, bro, it depends how you approach
Yeah,
taking the gap year.
good stuff.
Because you can use that whole year to plan ahead. Like you said, you're using the time to find your stuff. So
Yeah,
then once you find yourself, you find the passion, like you find what you're passionate about, and then you can start planning for that. You can say maybe once this year's over, I'll take on tertiary education or I'll go
yeah,
work full time. It's all it all depends on how you take that time and how you utilize the time that you have on your hands, bro.
true.
So taking a gap year is beneficial to certain people who use their time wisely
Yeah,
and really decide to take a gap year as a strategy and not just taking a gap year to lie at home watching TV,
that's the
you
thing.
know, like literally doing nothing, bro,
Yeah, man.
wasting a whole year. So it is something important.
Yes.
I've seen plenty of people benefit from it. There's this one girl that recently went to Netherlands to go and do some work over there
Hmm.
while in a gap year.
Okay.
So she's basically utilizing her time because she's going to see another place,
Yeah.
which is totally different from where she grew up.
Yeah, man.
So there's that. She's yeah, so she's traveling, she's seeing another part of the world. She's having fun, she's having a good time, but then she's also doing something productive, which I think I don't have the name now, but it's where you go and take care of other people's children or you house sit. There's a term for that, but that's basically what you can go and do. So it depends on what you're going to do with your gap year, bro.
Big time, brother. Big time. Yeah, I think, like you say, there's a certain type of person who a gap year is probably the best thing for. What makes it important is that you don't want to just hop into taking a 3-year degree just because your parents told you to, or
Mm.
it's the most popular thing to do right now. Sometimes I think, like you say, it is going to be more beneficial for you to take that time, really figure out what you want to do. You don't want to make a decision that is going to, make you unhappy. So rather take the time, if you aren't sure about it, take that gap year, use it well. Like Daniel says, make new experiences. Don't just sit around the whole time. You will have time to do that. You will have time to do that in all three of the options, but that can never obviously be the focus in your life, because when you're young, you do want to be taking steps forward the whole time. So that's sort of the thing that we're talking about here, man, is that in each of these different paths, obviously you can waste your own time by not focusing, not taking it seriously. But if you do decide to go down either tertiary studies, working full time, or taking a gap year, there it is going to move your life forward. You just need to decide what that looks like for you, hey, man.
Yeah, it's true, bro. And like I like the point where you mentioned you don't just jump into a 3-year degree just
Yeah,
because your parents told you to do so.
sure.
Because what happens then is you go into a field which you specialize in that you don't really like, which you're not passionate about, so you don't enjoy it. So you might end up wasting time by dropping out, and then you're wasting tons of money as well. So rather than, if you're not sure what you want to do after school, take the gap year, use that year to find out what you really want to do, what you're passionate about, what would make you happy going into the future. Because obviously, once you've got that degree, you're going to be working in that specialized field for a huge part of your life. So you'd want to enjoy it, and you wouldn't want to do something that you hate, or
Yeah.
where you go to work from 9 to 5 and then you come home miserable because it's not something that you really like. So yeah, it's really important because these decisions that you make now is gonna have an effect on your future.
Amen, brother. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why we're talking about this, because it is very important. What you do with your time now does really affect where you're going to be later on in life. That's what we talk about so often here on Better Than Yesterday, is the fact that we don't want to be making decisions now that are just benefiting you right now. You've got to try and make some long-term decisions as well. So yeah, man, beautiful
Yes.
stuff, bro. I think hopefully this video is useful to some people who are in that decision-making place right now, or perhaps it's something that you've gone through already and you can relate to it. If so, please let us know like what your thoughts are. What path have you taken after school? Please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and what I'd like to say is that even if you choose to go working straight away after school, you can always go back to a tertiary institute and then get your degree if you feel like that's what something that you want to do. So it's never too late, and there's not one specific path that you need to take in life. For example, finishing school, going straight to university, then working a few years, finding a wife or your partner, and then getting married. So
Yeah, it's true.
you
Doesn't have to
can
be so
definitely,
vanilla.
yeah, you can definitely choose how you want to live your life. You don't
Yeah,
have to go by the one standard or one
that's
norm.
true.
There's different ways in life. So yeah. So to sum it up, it is the first option is tertiary education. Secondly, it's working full time. And then thirdly, it's taking a gap year.
Good stuff, bro. Thank you guys so much for listening to Better Than Yesterday. Hopefully we'll catch you in the next video or podcast, and hope you guys have a great one. Cheers, Dan.
Thanks. Cheers. Bye.